Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sara Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today, I'm excited to show you a new collection of Christmas toppers from our friends at Hunkydory. This is the Topper Favorites collection, and it is an absolutely value-packed assortment of gorgeous designs. Then to go along today, I'm using the Merry Merry Christmas Dazzles from Paper Wishes in red and gold. And these coordinate beautifully with the toppers and give an extra touch of shine and dimension. So let's have a look through our topper collection today and we can see what we'll be working with. Now these sheets from Hunkydory are an absolute value. So you'll notice on here you're getting so many different images. Everything is coordinated per sheet. And you've got some larger images, some smaller pieces. You'll also have some verbiage and sentiments as well as borders. So you've got a lot going on per sheet. You can make at least one card, probably two, from each of these sheets. And you'll notice too, you've got a variety of different styles, different art styles, and everything from quite playful and sweet images to maybe something a little bit more traditional in color palette and style. Now all of these are die cut, so they're easy to pop right out of that backing sheet there. And of course, many of them are going to come with some nested frames in here as well, so that you can use those with the focal images or you can use them individually. So there are a lot of different options here. This is one of my favorites. I think that's beautiful. From traditional to whimsical, you've got a little bit of something for everyone on your card giving list. Here is our final sheet. So again, 32 sheets in all. You'll have 2 sheets each of those 16 designs that we just looked at. And then of course with your Merry Merry Christmas Dazzles, you've got a variety of fonts and font styles and word sizes in here. And of course some extra added images in there as well. Perfect in combination with our topper set. And I think today's webisode collection just offers such a value-packed assortment of gorgeous designs. I'm really glad that you're here today, and I'm excited to explore all of the creative possibilities with you. So come play with us. Our first card is using the Christmas Rose sheet of toppers to create a layered focal. These designs are just so pretty, and the large topper, which measures about 5.5 inches by 4 inches, makes for a striking central image. Now I've started my card with cardstock and pattern paper from the Christmas Past collection from Hot Off the Press. So I want to show these to you quickly. This is the pattern paper collection. You can see those beautiful designs here. And I will just show you quickly with what I have left over from my Christmas Rose topper sheet, just how nicely these images would coordinate also with some of the other pattern papers in this collection. So whether it's the dark red or the brown or the green, you can see how nicely those go together. I'm also using coordinating cardstock from the Christmas Past cardstock set, and you can see those beautiful colors down below and how nicely everything coordinates. So these are the papers and cardstock that I'm using throughout today's webisode, and they all just worked beautifully with our toppers today. So that was really nice. So what I've done here is first covered my card front with the dark red cardstock, the solid cardstock, and then added a piece of pattern paper right on top. Cut slightly smaller than the card surface, so then that way I'm able to get a really nice frame around here. Now both of these papers have been inked using the Delicata Gold ink pad, and that just creates a really nice sort of gold shadow effect. It's a really soft and subtle gold, and it also coordinates beautifully with the gold in the toppers. So after I've got my pattern paper and my cardstock assembled and inked, then I can add my topper. So the toppers, let's take a look at those. This is my main topper that you can see here, and then you'll notice I've also got a frame here. Well, this is from another one of the images on that same sheet, which has some nested frames. And what I did is simply separated the larger frame here and then added some foam tape to the back and just placed it right on top of the main topper. And that's going to give me a little bit of dimension on here too. If I angle this, I think you can see that I've got some depth on here. Now I've also got some depth and dimension in my flower centers, and that is thanks to some caviar beads. So let me move aside some of these pieces and show you the caviar beads. So these are no-hole beads. They work beautifully as flower centers and accents on cards and all kinds of paper crafts. They're also really easy to use. So let's take a look. I'll bring back in my smaller topper here. I've got a shallow container, and what I'm going to do is just place my topper right inside here. And then what I'll do is get some adhesive. Now I'm using the acrylic glue from Creative Expressions, and I've also got this in a fine tip glue applicator. This is one of my favorite crafting tools. And this just allows me to get precision application of glue on my surface. So I'm just going to put a little bit here and a little bit in this flower center here. And then it's kind of like adding glitter or embossing powder. I'm working with the red caviar beads. They come in lots of different colors. And all I need to do is just sprinkle some of these right on top. Seal up that bag. And then here's my little trick. You just need to let that glue dry with those beads in place. I take an acrylic stamping block and just place that right on top. And that kind of holds everything in place while that glue is drying. And it won't take very long to dry. I'll be able to put that to use in just a couple of minutes actually, which is really nice. So once the glue is dry, I've assembled everything and placed this onto the front of my card. And I added the Sent with Love message here. I also added some foliage up here and down here. Now this is die cut from the Christmas Past die set. So this is the die set that coordinates with that beautiful pattern paper and cardstock I showed you. You've got 12 dies on here, and you've got the poinsettia, a layerable poinsettia, which I used in another card in today's webisode. You also have some beautiful foliage pieces here, which just work beautifully for card making. And the piece that I really love is this one here, because I think this is a foliage element that you can use not only for Christmas, but probably all year round. And so I've got this die cut from some green, light green cardstock, just tucked up here. And then I've got the pine bows, there's 2 of them, and I've got those with dark green cardstock. And then I've also got what I'm calling the holly berry clusters. I've got a large one and a small one. And I've die cut these from red and just tuck them under here. Now you'll also notice that I've got a little bit of gold in here as well. And this is the hammered gold paper, also from Hot Off the Press. This is sold by the sheet and in a set of 4 sheets. And the sheets measure 8.5 by 11. They work beautifully in large pieces, like for photo matting and that type of thing. But I really like using them for small accent pieces and die cutting too. Because it is a nice, soft, subtle gold, it really coordinates beautifully and just adds a nice touch of shimmer and shine in here. I also use that hammered gold to back the ornaments from the Merry Merry Christmas Dazzles, which come in red. Let me show you those. So this is the sheet, and I've got one little ornament left on here. So all I do is just back the ornament, the open space of the ornament, with some either cardstock or pattern paper, or in this case, the hammered gold. Simply place that down onto the paper or cardstock and trim around the outside edge. And then I've got a black and white gingham bow. This is, of course, coming from one of my favorite ribbon sets, the gingham ribbons. And that black and white is just so classic for Christmas and lots of occasions. Then for my card inside, I have more of this beautiful pattern paper, plus the smaller of the die cut toppers, and I have some smaller accent pieces here, as well as more foliage die cut elements, and the Season's Greetings Dazzle. Now, this might seem like an unconventional Christmas card, but I live with a little black cat and I just couldn't resist using this topper on a card today. And this is from the Meowie Christmas topper sheet. And you can see I've already popped out several of these. I still have a couple of elements left over though too. So I could probably squeeze a second card out of this sheet. So here I've started with a sheet of black glitter cardstock. Now this comes in sheets of 8.5 by 11, and it's really perfect for adding a bit of shine and sparkle to your cards. I trimmed mine down slightly smaller than the card front so I can keep this white border. And then I've added my elements on top from there. So I've got the frame, which I could of course just place right down. But I wanted to keep some contrast here, so I've just backed this with a bit of white cardstock, like so. And then I've added my focal image with some foam tape just right in the center there. And then I have my sentiment topper right down at the bottom. Now I could leave the design as it is, but I wanted to add something up in one of the corners. And the bow die set was really perfect for this. So let me show you this. Now the bow die set is one that I use a lot because it really creates some nice dimensional elements here quickly and easily. So this is the package. You'll notice that missing are the elements to create one of the bows. This is how the bow will come together. This is the smaller of the two designs. So you'll have 2 bow sizes in here, 6 cutting dies in total. And you can see that the smaller ones will come together to work as a smaller bow, and then I've got some larger pieces to demonstrate for you. So let's take a look here. You've got 3 pieces that will all come together. So you've got the piece that looks like a pair of goggles, you've got the ribbon, and then you've got this piece which will go in the center. So that's this little bit here. Once you die cut these pieces from whatever color cardstock or pattern paper you want, you'll have your ribbon piece here, you'll have this funny goggle shaped piece here, and then your center element. And then all you need to do is use this piece to create your dimensional bow. So I'm going to move aside the ribbon and the center for now, and we can take a look at this. So what you're going to do is simply wrap both of these sides around to meet in the back in the center. And that sounds more complicated than it is. You can see this little tab on one side. You're going to roll, not fold, you don't want it to be flat, but you want to roll this back to align in the center like so. And that'll give you a bit more of a loop. So don't squish it closed, but leave that to be a bit dimensional. And then what I do is add a little bit of my acrylic glue and then hold it in place. I use a little, you could use a paper clip. I have a lot of these little mini clothespins which come in handy, and then let that set to dry. And then you will have a piece that looks like this. So you can see this is already dried. I've got one of my loops done. And then I'll just repeat with the other side. Same process. Loop that around and glue that. And then you'll have a piece like so. And this is the base of your die or your bow design. And from here you can add your center element. And so for this, what I'll do is put a little bit of glue here and place this in the center like so. Let that glue dry really well like this, and then you can fold around and secure that to the back. And then you will have your bow all ready to go. And you can incorporate any of your papers and cardstock colors. In this case, I use that hammered gold for my bow, and then the ribbon portion is made with red cardstock, as is that centerpiece on there. Super easy to do. Then for my card inside, I have another piece of the glitter cardstock, plus a portion of the border from the topper sheet, and this larger image of our suspiciously innocent looking cat and the message that says I've been good-ish this year, and I think that's all we can ask for. Then I've got another of the red dazzles up here placed right onto that black glitter. For another really playful look, the Snow Much Fun penguin sheet has a layerable topper design. So I'm going to angle my card here, and you can see how this, I guess you would call it a pyramid of penguins, is actually layered together with foam tape to create some extra dimension. Now I've also got some dimension and texture down here at the bottom with some of the soft snowfall from Hunkydory. So we'll take a look at building up our pyramid of penguins as well as adding that soft snowfall on here. So let's start with our topper piece. Now I'm going to begin with the base element here, which is a beautiful focal all on its own, and you could definitely use this as it is. But then I've also got another element here and then a third piece here. Now with these two pieces, I've got some foam tape on the back. So I can simply place this down on top so you can see how those layers come together. And then I've got this little piece also on foam tape that will just go right on top here. Now you can simply glue the layers together rather than using foam tape, and you'll still get some nice dimension because the toppers are on a really nice heavyweight cardstock. And so that's what I did when adding in some of the hats and some of the scarves. So once I've got these elements together, you can see I've still got quite a few left on my sheet. You could use the entire sheet to create one single image, or you can separate them and use them in parts and pieces to create multiple images if you want to. So let's talk about that snowfall down at the bottom. Before I glued everything together like so, I identified where I wanted to put that snow, and then I added my snowfall on here. So let's take a look at this. The snowfall from Hunkydory is perfect for Christmas cards. The pack contains 300 grams of mini flakes of artificial snow. This is just one portion of that pack, so you get a lot. And it's wonderful for adding texture and dimension. It's also really easy to use. And once it's on your card, it stays put, which is nice. I'm keeping mine in this zippered plastic bag, and this is just what I find easier in terms of application. I'm going to get the bag open so it's ready to go. And then again, I'm going to use some of my acrylic glue and my precision applicator. And I'm just going to apply some glue down here at the bottom where the snow is. And kind of spread this out a little bit. I'm going to make sure I don't use too much, but really kind of shimmy that out so I have some even coverage on here. And then what I'll do is simply open up the bag, scoot this in, and kind of tap it in so that I'm able to get the snowfall on my piece. Now I've got it lots of other places too, so what I'm going to do very quickly is place it into another container, and then I'm going to let this glue dry really thoroughly. And it won't take very long, and then I can use a dry paintbrush to kind of shimmy off any of that additional snow on there. And it does have a little bit of static electricity to it, so you may want to take care when you're shimmying this off of your surface and off of your clothes and hands as well. But once that's dry, it will stay in place there, and then you've got a really fun image and a really nice additional bit of texture on here. So then back to the card. I've covered the card front with this green pattern paper, again inking the edges with that gold pigment ink. I've added a bit of vellum on here with some torn edges, again for a little bit of dimension. And then I've also got the Season's Greetings Dazzle down here at the bottom, a gingham ribbon up here at the top corner just to balance out this star-shaped topper piece. I think this is super cute. And then because I had those extra penguins, I layered them onto the two larger pieces together with some of the hats and scarves. and just placed them on the card inside and then added the Merry Christmas Dazzle message. Our final card is another traditional look, very elegant, and this is using the beautiful Baubles topper sheet. And I've used this in combination with this gorgeous brown pattern paper from the Christmas Past pack. And this is a really good example, I think, of just how useful these toppers are for a large, really eye-catching card focal. So you can see I've taken this large image with all of the frames intact. So remember, you can separate these and use them in parts and pieces, or punch out the entire element and use it as it is. And that's what I've done here on the card front. And I've just taken this whole piece and foam taped it right onto the center of my card. And then I've also got some poinsettias here. Now again, this is from the Christmas Past die cut set, and I've die cut them from that beautiful hammered gold paper. And then I've also got some cardstock foliage. I've also got some vellum foliage in here as well, which adds another nice little bit of dimension and something a little bit different in there too. And then in the center of the poinsettias, we have more of the caviar beads, and these ones are the green beads. So again, working beautifully not only on cardstock, but also on the surface of that hammered gold paper, which is really nice too. And then up at the top here, you can see more of those little ornament dazzles from the gold sheet. And I've backed them onto some of the pattern paper that was actually excess paper from the edge of the topper sheet. And I just thought, this is so pretty, and I wanted to be able to put that to use too. So nothing goes to waste. So I've got two of those really sweet little ornaments, and then I've also got a bit of jute twine, of course, coming from my very favorite pack of ribbons and twine. That jute twine pack, I use that quite a lot. And here, just a little easy touch with that bow up at the top. And I do use my Creative Expressions glue for this to secure that down in place. Then for my card inside, I've got some green cardstock. I've got some more of the pattern paper, and then the borders from the topper sheet, as well as another topper image. And again, this is keeping those two elements, the frame and the focal, in place and gluing those together as one unit right inside. And then I've got some more die cut pieces here, again using the vellum. And I have a little dazzle, which is layered onto the dark green cardstock. And then of course another dazzle message down at the bottom. And that is our final project of the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at Hunkydory for this gorgeous collection of toppers, making it so easy to create beautiful, elegant cards for the holidays. And a special thanks to you for joining me today. We're really glad you're here, and we're happy you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.